Good afternoon, guys. I'm Teacher Lorence. Welcome to the Taguig City Education Office and Depot Taguig. May I present to you Education R. Now, before we start, let's have a short game first. Okay, I'm going to present to you some sets of questions. It's up to you to write a particular answer in your comment box. Let's play the game. Oh, by the way, the name of the game is Question and Answer. Question number 1. It is measured at the amount of energy released during the earthquake. I will give you 3 seconds to answer the question. 3, 2, 1. The right answer is magnitude. Question number 2. It can be a result of prolonged heavy rains which softens and saturated the soil, making it unstable and easy to be carried away by the floods and gravitational pull. For 2 seconds. The right answer is landslide. And then for the last question, it is what we call an umbrella term for non-frontal cyclonic scales. Cyclones developing over tropical and subtropical waters at any level and having a definitely organized circulation. 3, 2, 1. The right answer is tropical cyclone. Very good. Now, we will now proceed to our objectives of our lesson. We need to understand the Philippine geology and tectonics and water system related to disaster. Number 2, recognize the hydrological hazards. Number 3, we need also to identify the mass movement or the term called landslide. For the last objective, we have to understand the effect of seismic hazards. Now, here are a couple of definition terms. Number 1 is what we call hazards. Hazards pertains to a source of danger, right? And then the risk. The term risk is what we call a chance of loss of lives and damage to property. Now, here are the sets of formula. Number 1 is what we call the risk is equals to hazard times people and property. This is related to disaster that may occur anytime, anywhere. Now, we have 2 types of geological hazard. Number 1 is what we call the natural hazards. This pertains to earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, flooding, landslides. And for human-induced or man-induced, it can be a ground subsidence of over-extraction of groundwater, or maybe petroleum, landslide stopping, and also resulting of a land development highway, construction of subdivision, and mining, and especially illegal quarrying. It is said that of all nations in the world, we are the second prone to different kinds of disaster, right? Followed by United States and in the 3rd position. Now, here you can see the different the pictures of disaster wherein it affects the community. Particularly, we have landslide. And why is the Philippines prone to geological hazards? Here are the following answers. So before we start, let's have a short game again. So I want you to read. I will give you ample time to read the following questions. All you have to do is to write your answer in your comment box. I'm ready. Okay, the right answer is disaster. Very good answer. Now, let's proceed to our topic. Now, so the Philippine geology and tectonics, according to the research, we are on the ring of fire. Now, the ring of fire consists of different kinds of volcano. Right? An active volcano that may serve as a jolt in our fault line. Now, when it moves, what happens is the landmass will also move. This will give a particular movement in a particular area. Now, I'm going to show you a video wherein you can see the formation of the landmass. Please watch.
It happens because hot rock rises, heated by the Earth's core. Near the surface, the rock spreads in 2 directions and goes sideways. It begins to lose heat. Eventually, the much cooler rock sinks back down. Through this spreading process, the Earth's crust is very slowly dragged apart. And it's this that ultimately causes the continents to move. Where the plates collide, the rock on the seafloor containing carbon from the dead plankton is carried deep into the Earth.
then we're back. Okay? Now, what can you say about the video that I've shown you? Any comments? So this is what we call the formation of the landmass. Right? The lava will go out into the crater, and then what will happen is they will form a volcano. Let's begin to our next. Now, as you can see, this is what we call the building trench. Right? Now, every part of our country has a particular fault line. Now, when the fault line moves, all of the parts of the landmass will also move. That will give a jolt, and the jolt will become an energy, and then that will start the shaking and the pounding of the landmass. That will be an earthquake. So here are what we call the volcanoes in the Philippines. Now, this is what we call the trench. Right? As you can see, there are different parts, colors, or the legend of the colors. This pertains to the mountains. Right? And then this is where the fault line is what we call placed. Now, let's talk about the weather system. Right? Now, the weather system consists of rain, because of wind, and also the precipitation. This will lead to a formation of what we call this a weather system. A weather system pertains to a cyclone. Now, another question. It is what we call a measured amount of energy that is released during the earthquake. This is some sort of review. The right answer, again, is what we call magnitude. Now, let's proceed to our topic. Now, here, you can see the siltage of the water, bodies of water, wherein there's no more space for the water to settle. The tendency is to have a flood. Now, flooding is one big concern in terms of disaster. Right? Many people get displaced or maybe injured or killed because of this flooding. As you can see in the picture, right? This is where the differentiation is happen during the flooding. Now, one main cause of flooding is what we call the denuded forests. Now, due to illegal logging, what happened is the water can be absorbed by the landmass because there's no vegetation. Without vegetation, there's no absorption of water. So the landmass is not reinforced. What happens is there will be, due to the force of gravity, what will happen is it will go down, forming a landslide. Now, there are four major geological hazards identified in the region. Number one is what we call the hydrological hazards. Number two is mass movement or landslide. Three is what we call seismic hazard, and the last is what we call hazard in karst terrain. Now, let's proceed first to our game. Now, another question. Simulation exercises aims to make everyone alert and responsive in the event of the disaster and emergencies, and assess the increase of their capacity level. The right answer is drills. Right? Now, so our next activity is what we call the identification of hydrological hazards. Well, what is hydrological hazards? It pertains to water. Right? Number one is what we call flooding. Now, as you can see in the picture, here are the examples of flood in different areas in our country. So, where can we find flood? Number one, this is what we call a place called a catch basin, wherein it is what we call the low elevation plant, wherein the water is contained. Flash flood. During rainy seasons or typhoon season, flash flood may occur because of the accumulation of water and the force of the wind, forcing out the water to come out. And then I'm going to give you an animation about the flash flood. Right? As you can see, the water is accumulating uphill, and due to the force of gravity, it will go down, affecting the community at the downslope. That is what we call an example of flash flood. Now, in this picture, you will see the level of water. Right? the seepage water here. And then the measurement is 4 meters. Now, during the flash flood, you know what will happen to this particular area? So it's the same river, right? The water is elevated twice, right? Twice the measurement of 4 meters. It's very dangerous because of the rapid currents of the water. It may also be a hazard because due to the force of the water, what will happen is you will be carried away. And in some cases, you get drowned and literally you will die. Now, another example is a straightening of river channels. Now, naturally, we have this, the river must be straight. Now, in human-induced disaster, what happened is they tend to excavate this part, forming a curve, right? To avoid this landmass to be passed on by the water. What happened is, due to the force of the accumulation of water, this happened, right? Now, the result is very devastating. Now, this is what we call shifting of river channels. This is the main river. The water tends to have a seepage on this side, forming another way of the bodies of water to accumulate. This is very dangerous for the community. Now, for 1,000 points, right? I'm going to show you this question. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. Please read. The right answer is hazard mapping. Hazard mapping has an important part in terms of disaster. So we can know the imminent danger with regards to a particular place, right? During, before, and after disaster. Now, another example is the sheet floods, right? The sheet floods, same as with the loop sign, but the problem is this is the main bodies of water. What happened is that it will accumulate on the upper part of the upland. Next is the river plain water. Now, we'll see the direction of the said water will go here, okay? Destroying all the properties on the in front. Now, the result is very devastating. Now, we have urban flooding. As you can see, it happens in Marikina, right? Another cause of flooding. You can see the devastating power of floods. If it's human-induced, this is one problem. The illegal settlers tend to stay on this area wherein there's a body of water. The tendency they will have a flood, and also deforestation. Now, the effect of urbanization plays a big part in our nature. One, right, the water precipitation tends to be absorbed, or the bodies of water tend to be absorbed by the trees or the vegetation. Well, whenever there's a development, what will happen is there's no passageway for the water to come out. The tendency is to have a flood. Now here we can see different methods on how to control flooding. Number one is what we call the channel modification, reinforce, just like in C6. And then we have dikes, and the other one is what we call the flood walls, thus preventing from the accumulation of water. Now, next topic is what we call the mass movement or landslide. I'm going to show you pictures about landslides. Now, the triggering mechanism for the landslide is very simple: rain precipitation and also earthquake. Now, these are what we call the indicators of what we call landslide. You can see the presence of the shallow-rooted vegetation, weak soils and rock materials, fractured rocks, and sloping ground and steep slopes. As you can see, you will see an indicator of landslide. It has some sort of a variation of cracks on the hills. You can see the present danger in the community. Another factor is what we call the removal of vegetation. So, due to farming, or it's not applied today, but the kaingin may have a great factor in terms of landslide. This is what we call removal of vegetation. So, the soil and the rocks, as you can see, due to weathering, the exposure to water and wind and sunlight, it aggravates the landmass, wherein it weakens, and then the tendency is, due to the force of gravity, what happens, it will go down. So you can see some indicators of what we call this, the landslide formation. And then here you can see the presence of the joint fractures, the bedding planes, and the fault. This is what we call the indicators of landslide. So here are the most some of the aggravating factors with regards to landslide. So we have excavation of slopes, and also you can see the land formation here, or the soil formation where it tends to fall down. That will give a risk. That will give a risk to the community. So here are another example of what we call this. One of the most dangerous is to have a unstable settlement of the house. Another example, overloading slopes and surfaces. And then we have slash and burns activity. In Tagalog, that is what we call pagkakainin. Now, it's not applied nowadays, but during early times, kainin is one of the easiest method to clear the landmass. So another is inappropriate mining practices. So there's no safety measures. What happened is there's a big issue. So as you can see, there's a resident house here, wherein the land, the steep of the slope tends to go down, thus affecting the community. It serves a greater risk. And then here are different types of landslide. So as you can see, we have the rational landslide, transnational landslides, and hubslide. Right? Then we have rockfall, topple. So there are many variations of landslides. So there are many indicators also. You can see here in the picture. So there are two principles: fall, slide, and flow. So you will see an indicator whenever there's a landslide. The term is what we call creep. The creep is what we call the bending of the trunk of the tree, indicating that the land is moving downward. The tendency of the tree is to have a curved formation of their trunk. Now, the rockfall is one of the most dangerous. Next is what we call toppling. Now, the toppling is what we call the fall of the huge rock, right, from the top. So, as you can see, this is an indicator of the toppling. This huge blob of rocks tend to fall down. And then we have debris slides. That's common in Baguio. You can see there's a highway, and then the portion of the landmass tends to fall down. Now, we have the rapid sliding of mass bedrock, and then we have the weakness of the foundation, or let's say the landmass. The tendency of the house is to fall down because there's no enough support for the house to settle. And then we have the slump. The slump is what we call the crack on the land formation here, wherein it tends to go down. So you can see a mark if there's an old landslide. Number one, this is an indicator. It's like it has been scooped, right? It serves as a scar in the hill. And then one of the dangerous type of landslide is what we call the mud flow. Because of the high volume water and debris and the mud, the tendency of this is to go down. This is a presence of mud flow due to lack of vegetation or the overflow of water. So, as you can see, this part of the area is totally devastated. Right? This is what we call the complex mass movement because they have this steep slope. Okay? And then this is the catch basin. How do we recognize the signs of impending landslide? Number one, see some indicator. This is from the school of Benguet. So this is an indicator wherein the land must tend to fall down. Fencing and retaining walls are totally displaced. There's a crack on the land formation here and also in the vegetation. You can see cracks from the land formation here, indicating that there's what we call a displacement of the weight. And also, one indicator is this one, the huge crack, and that will serve as an indicator to a greater disaster. Right? Many community or the community will be affected by this type of disaster. So this is what we call the steep slopes. Right? Now, the landmass is formed at the upper end. When it tends to weaken, what will happen? Debris will go down. Right? This is an issue of what we call one of the greatest concern This is what we call earthquakes. Right? There are two types of earthquake. One is what we call volcanic. The other one is what we call tectonic. Now, what is earthquake, by the way? It is what we call a weak and violent movement of the landmass due to the movement of the fault line. Right? Now, this is again the rate of fire related to earthquake. So you can see the types of earthquake, tectonic and volcanic. Now, please decipher these images. What is the right answer? We have the top. The other one term is there's a tape, and then the right answer is dot, cover, and hold. Right? It's same size. Right? All you have to do if you are in the classroom, when there's a shaking, all you have to do is to dot, cover, and hold. So here are what we call the difference between intensity and magnitude. Right? So intensity is what we call generally higher near to the epicenter, while the magnitude is the amount of total energy released by the earthquake. That is what we call the difference between magnitude and intensity. Now, Books has produced a poster like this. Right? It represents a different level of earthquakes from 1 to 10. Right? For number 1, it's scarcely felt, and then up to 5, you can see it's strong, and then 6 is very strong, and the last is 10, so it's completely devastating. So this is what we call seismic hazard. And when we say seismic, it involves fault line. Here are the record seismic movement in Manila and also in other parts of Luzon and Visayas. So this is what we call the formation of the fault line. So you can see the movement of the landmass is going down. Just it serves as a little pressure on the upper landmass. The tendency of the landmass is to fold up. Okay, this is what we call the seismic map of northern Luzon. So every hour there's a movement in Luzon. So please decipher the picture for 5 seconds. The right answer is early warning system. We need that also. Now, what is early warning system? Part of the early warning system is to detect the seismic map. Right? Whenever there's a movement, the toolbox will trace this movement, and then they will give a particular scale of movement. That is what we call the Richter scale. Now, you can see the different types of earthquake. We have the ground acceleration. I think this is in Hyatt Hotel. The ground rupture, liquefaction, and also seepage of sinkhole. These are what we call the example of sinkhole and flooded sinkhole. So most of that are example of sinkhole. Okay? The tendency is to level down the landmass. Okay? Okay, here are the following samples also of sinkhole. Okay, one thing. Do not use a sinkhole as a drain system. It aggravates the landmass. So this is what we call an example of liquefier. Again, the bodies of water that accumulate on the downside. This is where the cave formation occurs. And then, for our quiz for today, I will give you 5 seconds to read and then answer the following question. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The right answer is 19 to 20 tropical cyclones. Question number 2. Try to read. And by the way, don't forget to type your answer to your comment box. The right answer is landslide. Number 3 question. Maybe you're familiar with this. The right answer is very easy. Duck, cover, and hold. Lastly, the right answer is ground shake.